All right, welcome back to hour 2 of Handy at the Shandy. I'm Boring Jack. I'm joined, as always, by Table James Games and Adam the Fraud. This hour, we're going to be finishing off the trip report you just heard about in hour 1, and we're going to get into Adam's upcoming trip to Vegas, which he is mere hours away from at this point. And then we're going to finish off with some listener feedback and some advice columnist responses to some listener questions. So to pick up where we left off on my trip report, it's now Monday morning, and as I'm inventing new hangover symptoms, like each time I go to Vegas. I feel like when I was younger, I would just get like really bad headaches and just kind of be incapacitated by that. And then it kind of moved into like a nausea thing where I wouldn't get bad headaches anymore, but like I would stand up and then like throw up and then go lie back down. And now I'm at a spot where I felt like fine until I started to move, and then I was just like irrecoverably dizzy, but not the like kind where you feel like, oh, if I go like boot and rally, it'll feel better, but just like I can't be upright, almost like kind of like a vertigo feeling. And so I don't know, a fun step in my evolution. But what that meant was that I ended up staying in bed until like noon before trying to venture out into the realm of the living, which, you know, I was met from some scorn by my friends who stayed out late Friday night. And then when I was all up doing my early morning, get to the strip, get my exercise in, fuck you losers kind of thing, now all of a sudden I'm the sad sack in bed while they're having a good time. So I felt pretty dumb about that. And
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here on the East Coast waiting for updates from you and not getting any till like 4 in the afternoon. So I'm like, man, he must be losing. He must be losing so much money. And it wasn't that. You were just hungover.
Yeah. I think before that crap session, I was up like 2,500 on the trip because of that big boom, boom, up at video poker. But then I lost like 1,000 back at craps. I did have some late night Henry. We got some late night breakfast before going to bed. But I'm starting to think that's kind of a mistake too. Like eating so close to bed is not helping either. The thing I wanted to talk to you guys about, kind of the last public talking point I have as part of this trip report, is like, how do you make plans to stay smart and then stick to those plans? And what I'll start by saying is part of the reason why I was so well behaved Friday night after the Thai food and the craps and all the drinks and the beers was because I knew that I was planning on doing this morning exercise. I had already positively planned to make good choices. And so then I did. But then the next day I was like, I've already done all the stuff I need to do. I got up early. I did my walk. I've played everything by the book. Now I get to cut loose. And then as a result, I just kind of like fucked myself over.
I mean, do you feel like you fucked yourself over? Like,
yeah,
I mean, it seems like it was fun. Like it happened. Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah, I want to go to bed earlier and then wake up earlier. And
then make those plans every day.
I think that's the thing. My dad always said that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I think that's what I'm like actually kind of learning here is that like I need a proactive step each day to have something that's like worth waking up for so that I don't keep doing this shit. But
so the morning after was more of a negative than the positive of all that fun you had the night before.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially because all the fun is like kind of blurry, right? Like you're like, oh yeah, my credits were going up. My credit card was halfway across town and the crap sucked, right? Like, and that's most of what I remember from it, right?
Yeah, I get that.
At one point I made a decision, and this was maybe I was like 25, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to get sunburned again. Like this is my last time getting sunburned. And it's kind of like, seems like a weird thing to give up. Like I'm going cold turkey. I'm cutting out the sunburning. I know some people like to taper it off, but I'm going to like, it's kind of like a weird thing to say, but it's just like, it's like why I stayed at Stadium Swim for only like 30, 40 minutes is because I knew I didn't put any sunblock on and my life's goal is to never get sunburned again. So we're not doing it kind of thing. And so I'm not quite at the point where I'm willing to make a positive declaration that I'm not going to be hungover as shit in Vegas again, because I don't know, that's kind of hard to do, frankly. But I'm closer to that.
Working against you in that goal that you want to accomplish.
I'm closer to that now than I've been before, I think. But anyways, so I'm down at the Chandelier Bar at like 1 p.m. at this point, just nursing like a Red Bull and a club soda. At some point, I had so many different colored highball glasses in front of me with different liqueurs and stuff in them. I had like a Red Bull, I had a club soda, and then I had like a Campari and soda for like some hair of the dog. And then I was like, can we get like something blue or green that I can get going with this? But
you had like a pride flag in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. I've got my all-inclusive hydration section in front of me.
This one's for my Ukraine support. I'm just going down whatever cause is popular. Yeah.
The Cosmo video poker session started out pretty good. I probably won another like $400 and got to play there for quite some time. And then it was time to hoof it on over to Resorts World, where I had only seen Maddie on Saturday because Chris had called out. And so I knew I wanted to see Chris before I left town because he's my favorite bartender in Vegas at this point, probably. We get to that bar and get a few. I think we start with a few like tacos at the food court there at Resorts World, and it's like way less busy than it was Saturday. I think Saturday there was like some multi-level marketing convention in town.
Oh yeah,
at the Hilton or something like that, because it was just packed to the gills at Resorts World on Saturday. And Monday it was like a ghost town, and none of the restaurants were open. And you were left with like maybe a third or a quarter of the choices at their food court that you would normally have. So that was kind of a bummer. We got some like boring tacos and then went to plink away at the video poker bar there a bit. I'm now 2 for 2 in convincing my buddy Josh to come play at the high limit bar with me and just play single line dollars, and having him actually like hit something and get to play rather than just like have a $200 cocktail.
Nice.
Right. Mm-hmm. So I got him on a 4 of a kind early. And so he was kind of drinking the nice drinks for free for a bit there. We only stay a couple hours there. I think maybe around like 5, by the time I know that Zetinia will be back open, we start to walk back to the Cosmo. Knowing I can swing by the forum shops and grab my credit card. And on the way over, I say to my friends, at this point, half the group has left Monday morning. And I didn't even get to see them off because I was sick in bed. And so it's just me and my buddy Josh and Olivia, who are a married couple. And they were hanging out with me all day, basically, once I got up. And I say to them as we're walking back to Zetinia, I'm like, if I didn't take my credit card, I probably also didn't tip, right? Like I probably also need to like tip for the night. And they were like, no, it was included because we were a party of 6. And I was like, oh, that makes so much sense as to why I forgot it, right? Because like the transaction was over. I didn't need to sign for anything. I didn't need to add a tip. I didn't even need to calculate. Okay, I didn't need to take like a new screenshot of the receipt with the tip on it. Just like all the normal protocols were gone. And that made me feel a lot better because I was like, I've been dumb and drunk in Vegas before, and I don't just like forget my credit card. And so the fact that there was some intervening factor in there made me feel a lot better about myself.
Yeah, and if someone found out online that you didn't tip, we were going to be in for it. So,
right. So pick up my credit card. That was nice and easy. And we head back to Cosmo, and there's a video poker variant that my buddy Josh was kind of obsessed with that I want to talk about a bit here because we found it at the Cosmo. And it used to be right on the main alley by the Click Lounge. There was like this video poker machine called 5-Star Poker. And it lets you play all these random like poker variants like Dream Card, Ultimate X, Good Times Pay, if you've ever heard of that. But they're all single line games where normally you can't find them single line. This only has them single line, which is kind of a weird game. And we thought, of course, like Cosmo just got rid of this weird old machine. But they didn't. They moved it. It's over by the barbershop. And so the one video poker type that I didn't mention in that laundry list there is one called Quick Quads. My buddy Josh was obsessed with the idea of playing Quick Quads on this trip. And the way Quick Quads works is it kind of strikes me as a game that you could invent on your own because it treats any 3 of a kind where the other 2 random kickers you have with your 3 of a kind, your other 2 random cards, if they add up to the card you need to complete the 4 of a kind, get counted as a quad. So like if you have 7, 7, 7, 5 deuce, that's a 4 of a kind.
That is music to my ears right now.
If you have 9, 9, 9, 8 ace, that's 4 of a kind. And it is one of those 6 credit aligned games, but that 6th credit not only buys you this Quick Quads feature where certain things count as quads that really shouldn't, but also it bumps up all the quad payouts. So the quads are more exciting, even at just like bonus poker. The base quad is like 225 instead of 125 credits. And it's just, the strategy for it is insane. You have to do all sorts of weird stuff. There's things that you would come up with where, like, let's say you're drawing at 3 10s and you have a random like 6 with it. It's like pretty clear that you would just hold the 6. Because would you rather have 2 shots at the 1 remaining 10 or 1 shot at 4 4s and a 10, right? You're going from 1 out to 5 outs and only cutting your chances of getting it in half. So things like that, where you hold a random kicker with your numbered quads, that's kind of obvious. But there's also other deviations you have to make in strategy that are completely unobvious and weird, and it's kind of fun.
The game is so stupid that like I'm already enamored with it, and I'm dumb enough that I would go in completely blind and play terribly.
I think it's a fun one to play blind and terribly. I could be all in favor of that.
So this sounds almost as good as Gravity Poker.
Right.
Well,
right.
It does have one advantage over Gravity Poker, that it's real and you can play it in Las Vegas casinos. Like I've seen it in the Palazzo high limit slot room and stuff like that. Like it's around.
Yeah.
Like this was definitely invented by a guy who sat down and this happened to him. He's like, you know, if you added these 2 kickers, we'd get it. And he just became so obsessed that he pushed it through as a variant. And like Cosmo's like, all right, fine, we'll keep it around for a bit.
That's why I think it's so fun, is that it's something you think I could have come up with this while playing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Bravo to that. I want to buy that guy a beer.
And so obviously the higher the pair you get, 2s through 10s, the easier it is to make a quick quad. Because the only way to do it quick with 2s is with 2 aces. It's the only way to add up to 2, and then it gets easier from there on out.
And then that's 5 aces in deuces double bonus, which then you would just be sad that you weren't playing that variant.
Right. So yeah, you don't even want to hit it.
Nope.
But so yeah, I thought I'd bring up quick quads because this is a video poker podcast after all. But what we play when we get back to Cosmo is regular old chandelier bar goodness. And at this point, I think I lost my morning's winnings at Resorts World. So I'm up about 1,400 on the trip at this point. And I'm like, look, we're going to play a nice long shandy session. If I lose the 14, I lose it, but we're going to have a good time. And basically, as soon as we get our seats at Chandelier Bar, the bar just absolutely fills up with like conventioneers. It is, I don't want to say for sure it's the busiest I've ever seen Cosmo, ever seen the Chandelier Bar rather, but it is absolutely the busiest I've ever seen it while playing there. It was just wall to wall people. Like you would think that you were waiting to get into like a concert or a stadium or something with how like shoulder to shoulder everyone was. And then it's just me seated between Olivia and Josh, just plinking away at our various 3-line video poker games. I got Olivia on the Super Times Pay. I'm playing the Ultimate X. Josh is on the 3-line double bonus. We're all just playing our quarter denom games and having a great time.
Now, were these just bozos from the Luxor that were?
Yeah, I was going to say they were busting them over.
I don't know. I think that this would probably be the same sort of conventioneer clientele you would have gotten pre-merger,
Gotcha.
but it did strike me as pretty bozo-ish, you know, in terms of what drinks they were ordering and the alacrity with which they did so, and the way that their orders would change after they talk to they're yelling at the bartender, then they're yelling back at their friend, and then they're yelling, you know, it's just, it was a shit show.
It would have been great if it was actually a clown conference, so it was legitimately just a bunch of bozos.
Yeah, just straight bozos.
Would be great.
The alacrity those bozos would have.
Oh, alacrity.
Just a surge of alacrity through that bar.
I'm becoming known for just purposely putting in words like that. And so now I feel like I have to.
Please continue.
The highlights of that session. I lost $13.99 and cashed out with like $601 on my 2,000. So not great. But both Olivia and then Josh in pretty quick succession got royal flushes.
Jesus.
For $1,000 each. And so I was pretty enthused about that because they weren't up on the trip going into the session like I was. And so I think that $2,000 injection into their funds, you know, kind of vis-a-vis, like you always wonder, like, what if those 2 hands didn't happen, right? Like, like they're all of a sudden going home like down 2,300 on the trip instead of down 300 net on the trip or something like that, right? And the same for me on like various hand pays or exciting hits there. I think the most exciting hit I had other than that hand pay was I got dealt 4 aces and I had no multipliers running and I wasn't playing a kicker game. So I just got $600 for it, which it's like, I've gotten 4 aces on a 3x. That's the same thing. I've gotten 4 aces on a 4x as part of my like big run up session. It's like, that's more than this dealt hand. So that was kind of a frustrating dealt 4 aces to get. But in any way, I managed to pay off my markers, and I was up probably about like $80 to $100 just in loose 20s was my gambling winnings for the trip.
Nice.
It was kind of cool to play in that crazy Cosmo environment. It was simultaneously kind of fun and also just like super annoying. Mm-hmm. I couldn't tell if I like enjoyed it or not in some sense. I think if I was winning, I would have enjoyed it more. But
yeah,
knowing you have a seat in that environment feels really good, because a number of times you go there and you don't.
Well, that's why we never got up and just like sat through it all. But
I feel like a lot of people around us are getting royals. Like your friends are getting royals. John B, listener, friend of the pod, John B, 2 royals I saw recently. My buddy Dan sent me 2 text messages this weekend when he was at a casino not to be named because it's not in Las Vegas, had a couple royals. And so, you know what? I think this weekend Adam's going to get a royal. I'm calling it right now. I'm calling it that Adam's getting a royal.
I got a royal in front of Adam in November of last year at the Palazzo. I made him watch me get a 50-cent royal at the Palazzo High Limit Bar in that brief moment where they had gutted all their quarter games and we were both stuck playing 50 cent. So I've still got one in the last 12 months. But it's been a lot of mashing that button and not getting one for me, I think. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm due as well. But so then that was it. We did a bit of late night breakfast at the Henry. I showed Josh and Olivia my balcony because no one had even seen this like cool room that I had yet at this point. And so this was like our last chance to like, hey, come check out this room. We got to watch a fountain show from up there. So that was pretty neat. But other than that, I just went to bed and passed out. The one other thing I'll say about the next morning, I did at listener behest, I did stop by New York, and look at the High Limit Bar they have there. It's kind of a low to the ground bar. You're not up on as high of bar stools. It's more kind of like a regular chair height. And it's a small bar, so that doesn't feel that out of place. It's maybe like a 5-seat bar with 3 machines, or a 6-seat bar with 4 machines or something like that. The Ultimate X at it is not good. I didn't bother to just sit and look through all the pay tables that they have. I imagine the dollar single line is very similar to what they have at most MGM dollars, but the Ultimate X there was just a tick lower than I consider playable, right? Tick lower than what you get at Chandelier Bar, Palazzo High Limit, Bar Luca, either Resorts World Bar, just all the places I play, it was worse than that, I guess I should say. The other thing I wanted to note is that we get on the plane to go home, and my buddy Josh spends the entire flight home, because he was like, yeah, I might get some work done, or I might like try to watch this video or whatever he was going to do. He spends the entire flight on the way home on his phone on videopoker.com playing through like a few hands at every single variant weird game they offer. He's like, I was playing Rack'em Stack'em poker. I was playing Powerhouse poker. I was playing To the Moon poker. Like just any sort of weird sentence, like words you could string together before the word poker, he found it and played it. So I was like, this is what you do after leaving 4 days in Vegas, is that you play 3 hours of video poker on your phone. But God bless him, because
I really thought you were going to say he spent the entire time in the bathroom. Like the way that story was going, I thought he was going to do work, but he was just shitting the entire time because he went to Wicked Spoon right before.
I'm glad that our heads are in such different spaces leaving Vegas, but that was my trip. I guess the wrap up for it is I am pretty Vegased out at this point. Like I've done 3 trips in the last 2 months, basically end of June through end of August. I had 3 trips in that time frame, with 2 of them being reasonably long. And I thought for sure after having that like slightly winning trip at the start of August, I was like, man, if I have another like winning or not losing trip, because I think I net won like $40 on this trip in gambling. And that includes, or that is less the like tips and petty cash that I used to spend on other stuff. That in my head is kind of counted as gambling losses because it comes out of the same cash bankroll. So net, I'm up like $40 in cash that I didn't go to Vegas with. I thought for sure I was going to be itching to get back if I had like 2 winning or break even trips in a row. And I'm just not. I'm looking forward to the end of November. Might try to sneak out between now and then. But like right now, I would be like very happy waiting the 2-3 months to get there again, because all the goals are gone. The handy at the shandy's been achieved.
Yeah.
The sick as shit till 1 p.m. has been achieved. I mean, like, I think I've done it all. I've eaten at every Jose Andres restaurant in town.
Forum shops, all the goals.
we got to ride the escalators at the forum shops.
Well, I know someone who is not sick of Vegas, and I think it's the person that is leaving within hours of the recording of this to go to Vegas.
I mean, I am sick, but not of going to Vegas. That's my big problem right now.
You got the frat? Did you get the frat flu from the first few weeks of camp?
I mean, I haven't left the house, so I don't know what it is. The toddler? No, my son started coughing, and then I started coughing, and so it's one of those. But no, I'm really looking forward to it. I am also going to be in a wraparound suite, Fountain View, which is great. I get on Saturday.
Do you want to start with who's coming on this trip? Wife, kids, friends, none of the
kids
above?
Not coming. Wife's coming. So this was supposed to be a trip where my buddy and I, my best friend from high school, Jaron, we both turned 40 this year, and we've been trying to find dates to do this probably for like a year now. And so we settled on September. Neither of our birthdays are close to September. They've already passed. And so we're really excited about it. But I'm happy for him. He's been on an adoption registry for a long time, he and his wife, and they were finally able to adopt.
Nice.
And it happened really quickly. So I'm over the moon for them. But it just meant that he can't go on this trip. At first he was like, well, I think she'll let me go because she's going to have some support, for like a day or two. I'm like, dude, no, the babies are like 3 months old. I will kill you if you go out on this trip. Like, we'll find some other time. So he might come to F1 with us, actually.
Oh.
But there's going to be a handful of people. My wife will be there. A couple people from the Vegas internet community who, like in the Summit VIMP days, that they've kind of gone quiet on Vegas Twitter, but kind of just follow everything. They messaged me, and we're making plans and stuff. So some family, some friends. I think 12 to 14 people that I'm close with will all be out there.
Right on. So is it all Cosmo?
For the first 3 days, it's pretty much all Cosmo, and everything's going to be kind of centered around there. So I get in. Plan is to go to Bevet's for dinner, which it's more because Katie, my wife, wants to go there. She still hasn't been to the one in Chicago. And by all accounts, the one in Vegas is slightly better than the one in Chicago, which is the original. So we're going to go there. And then we're doing, and this is going to kind of come up later, of thinking of things to do, because not everybody's a big gambler. And I think that's one of it's not a problem for me. I do want to do a fair share of gambling, but also trying to accommodate 10 plus people who have varying bankrolls, or just some that don't like gambling at all, which includes my wife. So finding different things to do. So our plan right now is to go to On the Record, which is a bar in Park MGM. And so they have like a main club area, but they also have private karaoke rooms that are pretty sizable too. I'm not a good singer at all, but like, it's just something different. So that's kind of what we have booked for the first day and night. Who knows how long I'll be out, because I'll be dead tired.
That's really cool. If you had asked me, is there anywhere on the strip that does that private room style karaoke, I would have said no, and I'm pretty confident in that. So that's cool that they have that. I wouldn't have known what they offer there, other than that I knew it was supposed to be some sort of hip club when it opened, and that they weren't really sure what to do with the space.
Yeah, and I think they do on certain nights, like in the main room, they have just karaoke, right? But I think sometimes they have DJs in there too, but they also have the private rooms for if you just wanted to, have it with a group. And like most restaurants actually have like a cool little private nook that you can do if you have like 10 plus people. That doesn't really cost extra or anything. You just have to ask about it. I say there's many, and I can't think of one, but there's a one in Mandalay Bay. I'm forgetting what it is. It's a Carver hospitality owned restaurant, but they have a little side room where it's also, oddly, it's a karaoke room too, that you can just request to be in. Like, so if you have like a larger group, and it's not a karaoke, the main thing's not a karaoke bar. It's like it's kind of like very casual sports bar feel, but it's almost like it's like a little speakeasy. It looks like lockers and stuff, and you go behind there. Someone should start a list of these kind of things, because there's like speakeasy lists, but there's also these cool little like back room, private room things that you can get that don't really cost anything extra. You just have to know that they're there and ask for them.
So on that note, are you going to try to get into the back bar at Bevet's? I've never been back there, and I didn't know it existed, but I've been hearing some chatter about it.
So I don't know what Bevet's is going to actually look like for you. So for people who don't know, my sister Sarah works in the hospitality industry out in Vegas. She has a lot of connections, and so she does a lot of bookings for me. So she booked Bevet's because I went online and tried to book 14 people. And they're like, no, this is actually how we got into Bavette's the last time the three of us were together. She was able to get a reservation for us. So I'm not sure. It might be. That'd be fantastic if it was, but we'll see.
Cool.
Next day is Sunday. That's first Sunday of the NFL season, which is great. Originally, we were going to do Cosmo Cabana. And the reason I like Cosmo Cabana is, one, we're staying there. But two, I feel like it's one of the last things that MGM hasn't figured out that Cosmo does really well. Like, MGM hasn't figured out the happy hours really good yet. And they haven't figured out that the Cosmos and day beds and all that stuff that you can rent at their pools are full food and beverage minimum. So there's no rental fee. It's just a straight minimum that you have to spend up to.
When you said they haven't figured it out yet, not that they haven't taken that winning formula and copied it to their other properties. You're saying they haven't gutted it yet. Yeah.
Right. Because like MGM Grand used to do the same thing. Yeah. And then like they slowly got rid of it. Like one year it was finally like it was half. It was half rental fee, half food and beverage minimum, which is what a lot of Caesars properties do now. But now Cosmo is the only one in the MGM portfolio where it's still a food and beverage minimum, which is great. So like we have 10 people, you spend $150 a person, which is easy to do over 5-6 hours. It's a great deal, which I know people out there in the internet say that's not a great deal, $1,500. You're just sitting at a pool, but relatively speaking, it's a fantastic deal.
Yeah. And there's something to be said for, like, in some sense, all of the food being free, like in the sense that it's not trivial to hit the minimum.
Right.
You will probably hit it if you try and not hit it if you don't try, which means that everything that you do actively want is free once you've paid that upfront cost to get the nice accommodations.
I like that way of thinking.
And so it's like, yeah, you're paying $150 for this nice cabana and all the food that you could want is included. And I kind of like to think about it that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've done this before. When I was out with Katie a few years ago, we got a cabana at Resorts World. And it was a good combination of, she just wants to hang out at the pool, but I want to watch some football. So it was great. We had the TV on. It's not sitting at a sports book, of course, where you have everything on.
They have big TVs in those cabanas. I've just wandered through it. They're nice.
Yeah, quite a few of them do. So it's a really nice compromise. Everyone in the group's going to be happy. Like, you know, my sister-in-law, our other friends, like they're gonna be happy hanging out at the pool. While the guys, if we wanted to, we could, you know, if we're actually not, I'm bearing the lead. We're not actually going to have the cabana at Cosmo. But
I was looking for that.
At Cosmo, there are bars there. Anyway,
wait, where's the cabana?
Bellagio. We're gonna do Bellagio, but Vice Vegas actually brought up a tweet recently, which was about like, hey, I'm last minute doing a cabana. Is it cheaper just like see if there's any available day of and like haggle? And it's like, it's hit or miss, right? At a lot of these places, like, can you haggle? Do the frontline employees have the autonomy to haggle and make those changes and stuff? But I would say like the importance of like, Jack, you know a lot of people in Vegas now, mostly bartenders, but that's good. The connections that I've been able to make just by being somewhat friendly and talking to people, knowing my sister and, you know, being active and engaged with people. It's like, sometimes you can talk people into things. And that's what we did at Bellagio, where it's like, I've got X amount of people coming. You've got all these cabanas available. Can you just scrap the rental fee and we'll agree to spend X amount? They're like, yeah, sure. And they might open up another one for us if it's available next to us and no one books it. Right. So like, this can happen. It doesn't happen often. And most of the time, like I said, those frontline employees don't have the autonomy to be making deals on behalf. But if you know the right person, you can talk to them. You can still work these things out, which is, I think Vegas is like one of the last few places where that's still kind of a thing.
And the reason it's becoming less of a thing is the corporations have realized that they can get a piece of that pie. Like if you were greasing their palm for $50 to get whatever it was you wanted, an upgrade, a cabana, whatever it is, the corporation says, well, how about we give you a $20 commission for every upsell you do?
Right.
And then they just pocket the 30. And they say, also, if you get caught accepting $50 for these things, you're fired.
Right.
So they take away your ability to get that kind of like greased palm sort of thing that the front desk agents used to get. And they replace it with something that is better for the company, roughly the same for the consumer, and then just worse for their employees.
Better for the shareholders.
Exactly.
Shareholder value is really all I care about at this point. So
Mhm.
I made sure when I'm booking, I'm like, will this increase shareholder value? They say
Yeah.
we're pretty sure. I said, okay, then let's book it
Let's
at
do
this
it.
point. But I mean, there are still employees who are really looking out for the customers, right? Like, the guy that you had at Cosmo when you were checking in was like, let me see what I can do, right? He got on his secret phone to, the red phone.
And that's why I didn't try to like lead with like, hey, I really want to get into a room right now. Here's $20. Here's whatever. Is I
Right.
know that for the most part, they're kind of still just beholden to what the system will let them do. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did tip him $10, but that was after all was said and done and I already got my room key, that kind of stuff. I would rather just tip on the back end if I get good
Yeah.
service and
Right.
not try to engineer some quid pro quo up front
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah. And there's no right way to do it, really. I mean, because people have had success going the opposite route.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's
I
just how
just,
do you feel? Like, how
yeah.
confident do you feel? Mhm. But I'm looking forward to it. I've actually never had a cabana at Bellagio. I've done it at Cosmo a few times, and it's great. Like, it's a really nice way to spend the day. And because like the mobile sports betting, and if you really wanted to, you could play poker as well. But like, we'll have a couple computers out watching different games. We'll be doing some in-game betting and stuff like that while we're hanging out, and it's still going to be 90 plus degrees, so it'll be a good afternoon.
That sounds awesome.
I think Bellagio's pool. I don't understand. I mean, I've seen pictures of Caesar's Palace pool. It looks similarly nice,
Hmm.
actually. I don't understand why so many other Win pool obviously is fantastic. I don't understand why the Cosmo pools are so Spartan. Like there's no ornateness to it. It's just a
Hmm.
hole in the ground with water, and then a bunch of like chairs and lounges and stuff, and then concrete. Whereas
Yeah,
like Bellagio's pool has like tile and marble and
greenery and.
columns, and yeah, it's I
Mhm.
I don't understand how you could open a pool after 1998 and not include some of the stuff that Bellagio included, because their pool just blows everyone else out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like a skyscraper pool, and that's I. So when I originally said I wanted it, I was going to do it at Chelsea because it's more chill, as opposed to Boulevard Pool, which is their other pool, which is kind of the more ooncy one. And one reason I don't like Boulevard is because I think some customers might get some regret booking cabanas there because they've like upper level cabanas, which are literally just like you're up a ramp, and
Yeah.
it's just like
It's
you're.
actually just all concrete up there.
Yeah, it's just concrete, and you to get to the pool area, you have to walk downstairs. It's like when it's 90 degrees out, you're just simmering in a tent, like hanging out. Like you don't, it doesn't have that pool like
You may
feel
as
to
well
it.
you may as well be a Burning Man at that point.
Well, exactly right. I mean, you honestly like just go get a lounge chair down by the pool then, because it's actually to me
Yeah.
it's kind of a waste of money. No, I've done that before, and that was just like, yeah, well, we learned our lesson that way. It's worth spending the extra money to either be down at the pool level or to go to Chelsea where everything is somewhat close. But after Cabana, I think the plan is Beauty in Essex, which I've actually never been to, so that'll be interesting
How many people
for
are
sure.
you going there with?
14.
Mm.
My advice was going to be basically trivial at that point, because I went with a group of like 5, and
Mhm.
every thing on the menu comes with like between 2 and 4 pieces, because it's all like small bites, not even
Yeah,
small
yeah.
plates. It's a lot of small bites. I was actually really impressed by the food there. I thought it was going to be like, because Beauty and Essex is from New York. I've been
Mhm.
in the one in New York. It was so busy that we just like turned around and left. But like this is like a poor facsimile of the one in New York that's like behind a pawn shop. Like they try to do the same thing in Vegas. Like, oh, here's this pawn shop in the Cosmo. It's not a secret restaurant. Like it's
Mhm.
way less believable in a casino. And I thought
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
result, it was just going to be like some knockoff bullshit. And the food there was just great. Everything we liked
Mhm.
was great. I was just going to say, beware kind of like the upcharges to add additional things where you're like, we're going to get an order of this. It comes with 3. And they're like, well, do you want us to bump it up to 5 so everyone can have one? And we're like, yeah. And it like cost as much as adding another 3 on, basically. Like
Right,
it
right.
wasn't even like linear. And so I
You
was
want to
going to
bump
be,
this up to 14?
well, right. Yeah. But you get to order as much as you want with a group that big. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing is finding 14 people in Vegas who don't hate me. That's been kind of the biggest win, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Well, you have to bust them in from out of state, right? Like it's
That's right. Yeah. From the
it's like these
Luxor.
like refugee, yeah, these like
Like grabbing.
refugee plane flights in, like
Yeah.
people who don't hate Adam.
Yeah. Um, After that, I actually have no plans, and this was very purposeful. Where it's like I don't know how people are going to feel, where people are going to want to go. Maybe go downtown, Sand Dollar feels like it would be a good time. Again, the issue is like my wife doesn't like gambling, but is she going to be so tired because she goes to bed at 7:30 every night that and we're going to be at Cosmo where she's like, screw it, I'm going upstairs. And I'm like, cool, I'm going to go gamble then. So, I mean, that's really, I'm just beholden to my wife most of the time. Like that's who I'm trying to appease, where it's like everybody else, I'd be like, screw you guys, I'm doing whatever I want. But like if she's around, I need to find some sort of compromise. And I feel like it's because I'm being a jerk, but I just genuinely like her company. So I want to make sure that that's what I'm doing. I know some people don't know what that's like, but.
I was going to say when you tell everyone else just to go screw themselves. And I was like, I wonder why Adam can't find 14 people.
Why do people not like me? I brought you guys all to Vegas and I'm like, fuck you guys. Do whatever you want. But no, I think downtown works because, if someone wants to do some drinks, they can go to like the Mom Museum Speakeasy if we're going to be on the Speakeasy tour, if you will. Or people can find a myriad of bars or low rolling games that they want to play. I think there's enough to do down there. Whereas on like a Saturday, Sunday night, Cosmo, it's going to be a little bit expensive maybe for some people. So I think that transition might work, but we'll see. And then Monday. So Monday, I was supposed to do the plan was to do the F1 experience. I'm a big F1 fan. They've got karting, they've got simulators and stuff.
This is the thing that they made, like, there was a specific portion of it they made, like, free for the month of August, right? Like,
yeah, and they've extended it. So that's the Sims. So they've got simulators, which is cool. So we might do that, but I really want to do the karting because I like karting. But, and I thought I can wait a little bit to book it, see how many are going to be there. And I went to book it this week, and Monday is all sold out, which completely shocked me for kind of a slightly off strip attraction. And they have, maybe it's just rented out or something because there's absolutely nothing, or maybe they typically don't have them on Mondays, even though I could see on the calendar that some Mondays are available. But yeah, a bit shocking. So I don't know what I'm going to do. My wife and a few other women are going to do like a spa day that morning, but that might be a good opportunity for me to finally like sit down for a couple hours at Chandelier Bar and do what I want to do, or maybe go downtown
and get that handy.
Once again, say screw you to everybody else. This is what I want to do. But yeah, Monday night the Bears are playing the Vikings, so Jack and I have something riding on Monday night.
We're like 1.5 point favorites on the road in Chicago. That's got to bode well.
So Fontainebleau, again, it's all about making connections. I like their sports book. I like that it's kind of part restaurant, part sports book. I'm not actually sure where we're going to request yet, but became friendly with food and beverage manager there. He's a really nice guy. And he's told us basically like, yeah, we'll figure something out. So if I'm in the restaurant area, that's great. They have screens everywhere, but they've got a cool lounge area too, in front of kind of like the main big screens. As well. So we're still trying to figure out how many people are going to be there. But
you're not going to try to be in front of a machine at the time?
No, I'm not going to. No, mainly because Katie is still going to be around. And I actually do want to watch the game. And I find it, I'll play much worse myself. I'll play worse at VP than the Bears will be playing. Then Monday night after that, not really sure what we're going to do. That's Monday night. And then I think most people are going home Tuesday, except for me. Now I'm literally telling everybody to get lost. Most people are leaving. I'm staying Wednesday with just kind of a free day. I've got some friends that are going to be at Fontainebleau, so I'm probably going to hang out there for a bit, gamble a bit there. I think we're going to get dinner there somewhere. But I actually have no idea what I'm going to do, which is a very nice, liberating feeling for what, has the potential to be kind of a jam-packed Vegas trip.
If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yep. That's true. Yeah. So I'm not going to get absolutely blitzed any of those nights. That's my plan. So that'll be it. And then after that, it's not till November again.
That sounds like a great trip.
I wish I liked Fontainebleau a bit better. It just like, I saw a tweet this past week from Two-Way Hard 8 enjoying an old fashioned at the Solo Lounge, which is the newest addition to their portfolio of video poker bars. Their second video poker bar on the property. Again, not a 24-hour bar, because it's inside like what is ostensibly a high limit room, but it's like cooler than being a high limit room. I don't really know what the point of the Solo Club is, but I will have to go check that out and see if it's a fun enough place to play. That's another place I don't have a card at.
Well, you just don't play there. Then just wait it out.
Wait it out
until you're feeling
until
good.
You die.
Yeah. I had planned to stay there on Tuesday night, and I had actually booked it, but I got an offer from Aria that was a lot better. And since Aria is right next door to Cosmo, I'm like, do I really want to schlep all my stuff up to Fontainebleau? And then also knowing that I'm probably staying at Fontainebleau for F1, I'm like, I don't need 3 Fontainebleau trips in a year. So
yeah,
that's kind of where I'm
Did
at
you
with
book
that.
Cosmo through MGM?
Yeah, I did.
Interesting. I feel like they don't generally let you do that sort of back to back.
You can if you're. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to say this, and someone's going to tell me that I'm wrong. But I think you can if it's on 2 different offers. If it's like if you book one and then your offers change, and then you book another one, they let you. But I could be wrong.
I wanted the wraparound suite, right? And so when I looked at my MGM offers, that room was not given to me or not available,
even listed for any.
Not even listed.
Yeah.
So I just called them directly and said, "What's the best rate you can give me for this particular room?" Now, I probably, given things are slowing down, I probably could have risked it and said, "Okay, just upgrade me to a wraparound suite." But I'm not. I don't gamble with that. Like I don't gamble with the room that I want if I really want to be somewhere. So I just booked it in cash. Obviously, much less than the rack rate, but it didn't count towards my casino offer.
That makes sense.
Gotcha.
And so the Aria, so my offers updated. The Aria offers really, I mean, it was a comp at Aria, and then I'm not in the Sky Suites or anything, but I have a feeling I might be able to finagle my way in either for free or cheaply with the Sky Suites. I mean, I have status, and there's been a lot of people online who've been posting about getting solid upgrades for free at Aria lately. And since I don't think there's a bad room at Aria, I don't really care.
Right.
If I don't get an upgrade, that's great. If I do, awesome.
Cool.
And that's talking upgrades. So I'm excited about a couple restaurants I haven't been to before, but also doing some kind of non-gambling focused things. I'm not a big karaoke guy, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm still going to try and get into the simulators at the F1 experience. But this kind of leads into James, your friend Lauren, who's going out. It seems like they're not avid gamblers, and they were looking for maybe potentially some non-gambling activities or suggestions.
Yeah, so I posted on social asking people if they had any like Vegas questions, basically like noobs, because it's something I've been trying to push. Like, I want to get more people to come out to Vegas. And my really good friend Lauren said, "I'm going in November. Tell me all the places I should go and avoid." And then she added, "I'm going to the New Kids concert on Saturday, which is her 40th birthday. They're not huge gamblers, but it's her husband's first time ever going to Vegas." And so I went back and forth with her and finally just moved it off of social media because I'm like, I don't need to be having a full conversation with my friend, in my Facebook comments. So I'm going to lay this out there, and I want to hear what you all think. She said that for sure they don't want to be cheap, but they are more frugal than their gambling friends that they're going with. So the friend that they're going with is a gambler, plays poker, and they're going to be gambling a decent amount. They want to check out Fremont. They want to go to at least one, if not two. They said really nice dinners. And I was like, really nice? Like, oh yeah, we spend some money on food.
Nice.
And then it went all over the place from there. They're like, we want to do some outdoorsy things, which I know nothing about. I don't know if either of you have been any hikes. My sister went on a hike once when we were out there, and then she had no cell phone service. So it took her like 45 minutes to find an Uber. That's another story for another day. And then she's like, should we do the Link Promenade? I'm like, sure.
Do it.
So
what do you mean by do it? Like walk it.
Just do it. I don't know. Zip lines. Who knows?
Sorry, Lauren. I didn't mean to be like a jerk right there, but there's not much.
There is a very slim chance that she will listen to this podcast. But I'm going to say we talked about it. So what are y'all's thoughts? Like someone who's going out there, not big gamblers, are going for some sort of event, but maybe they're with gamblers, which ties into our last episode about how usually there's still one person that's a gambler that's in this type of group. What are some things that maybe we should tell these people to do?
Well, I think first, like their friend being a poker player is actually more freeing maybe than they realize, because like if they were like a craps player or like just a table games player, even a video poker slot player, it's like they're going to be in a more public area where it's like you feel like you want to be around them more, but they're going to be he's going to be in a secluded place, and so it's actually like, okay, he's there, let's go do kind of our thing. So right off the bat, that's kind of I would say a better situation to be in.
Yeah.
I think my first thought actually is like, don't be afraid or ashamed of kind of riding the coattails of someone who either gambles more or spends more than you do, right? Like I've been on trips where I'm the big gambler and the big spender, and I'm like, hey, the private car from the airport to the hotel, that's on me. Hey, this dinner, I had a big comp, that's on me. And I've also been on trips where I'm the guy where it's like, hey, you're picking up the bill, right? You're the big gambler. Like my buddy Brian covered a couple of my meals on the last trip out of the goodness of his heart and his bankroll. So I think in general, if they want to go do something expensive, but also foot the bill for it, just be like happy to go along with it. Don't feel like you're encroaching on them or that you should be paying your own way. I think a lot of what people who like to spend a lot or people who gamble a lot and get free stuff like to do is they like to spend it on other people. Right. So
yep. I did tell them to, stay hydrated, like we talked about.
Good.
But to walk the strip, if he has never been there, like see the Bellagio fountains, walk as much the strip as you feel comfortable walking, and just kind of soak it in. It's your only time. It's going to be your first.
That leads to my idea. So I made some notes on this, and what I kind of came up with is I think in general, my advice for non-gamblers is going to be like, when I go to Vegas, what I do is eat, drink, and gamble. And if we're cutting out gambling from the advice and me being like, oh, go play the progressive at the View Bar, like my best advice is going to be for like food and drink to go get. And I was saying, if it's your first time in Vegas, you want your food and drink plans to almost be like a scavenger hunt. Like you want to have an idea of, at this time, I'm going to go get this item, this drink, this bit of food at this place. And maybe not even at that time, but just I know at some point I need to get north to Tacos El Gordo to get the El Pastor with the white sauce and the green sauce and everything on it, right? Like so I have kind of like a list of things that I think would be like kind of good destinations to go get a particular thing at. And one of them I'll start with is at the Link Promenade. I think you need to go get a frozen Bailey's at O'Shea's. And the bar there opens up directly open air onto the Link Promenade. Sometimes you have to go into like 2 steps into the casino and order it at the O'Shea's bar. And sometimes they just have a stand right out there in Link Promenade selling like these frozen Baileys. And when I say a frozen Baileys, it's in like a slushy machine. And you're like, that is going to be weird. But it has the consistency almost exactly of like a Frosty from Wendy's, but it's just a little boozy. Nice. And so it's kind of a fun, refreshing, low proof, kind of like ice cream drink to go get. And I think it's great. I love Bailey's on the rocks. I think a frozen slushy style, frosty style Bailey's is a great thing to go get.
Yeah, I like the idea of doing like a themed exploration too. Being like, we're going to do 2 or 3, what's it called? Like Irish pubs, right? So we're going to go to Nine Fine Irishmen at New York. And it's a themed resort. It's like Katie doesn't like Vegas that much, doesn't like gambling, but she loves walking through the theme resorts. Like, we're going to go there and do the Irish pub, or we're going to do one tiki bar. We're going to do all 3, right? We're going to get one from each. And yeah, it's going to be some travel, but we're going to do like our own little, as you said, kind of a theme scavenger hunt, if you will.
Yeah, I love that. How many of these suggestions do you have? Like, should we write this up and send it to them?
No, I've got 5 for the scavenger hunt. And then I have one other thing that I put up before you said they were willing to spend money on dinner. And so I'll share that in a sec. But so here's what I've got. I've got the verbena cocktail at the Cosmo Chandelier Bar level 1. And that one, if you just show up and you say, I want that drink that has that flower in it, that does the weird thing to your mouth, they say coming right up, because they get asked for the drink by description much more often than they get asked for it by name. But it's called a verbena. Right. I've seen facsimiles of it elsewhere since then, but they did pretty close to inventing it as far as I'm concerned. And that's a cool drink. Also at Cosmo, and I mentioned this in the last hour, was the nitro tea. They have 2 different types of Japanese green tea in that kind of like foamy nitrogen on tap sort of mouthfeel that you get from it. And you can get a sencha or a matcha, which are kind of each unique green teas in their own right. It's one of my favorite non-alcoholic drinks to get in Vegas. It's really unique and incredible. That's at the sushi bar on the 2nd floor in the food court. Frozen Bailey's at the Link Promenade, already said. For breakfast or for a nice snack, go get a cronut at Dominique Ansel. There's one at Caesar's Palace. There's one at Paris. If you haven't stood in a long line in Manhattan to get a cronut pastry, go get one at Dominique Ansel in Vegas. It's probably just as good. I think it's a pretty unique texture profile to a pastry. And also they change monthly. So like if you go get it, it'll have a filling that they do once and then they retire that flavor. So it's always something new. And then the last was what I said to start this whole thing, which was go get the El Pastor tacos at Tacos El Gordo. You have to walk a little bit past the Wynn, but not into any like rough areas or anything like that. It's directly across the street from Resorts World. It opens as early as 10 a.m. So if you're an East Coaster that wants to get an early lunch, it's a great place to do it. And I think the tacos there are really good.
Nice. I think those are all great things to do.
And so before, I guess I'll just keep talking. Before you said that they were willing to splurge on food, my advice was going to be splurge for a prefix like chef's menu at one of these like celebrity chef restaurants. And the three I came up with that I'd recommend are, two of them are my two favorite restaurants in Vegas, which are Best Friend, a Roy Choi restaurant at Park MGM, and Haleo, which is a Jose Andres on the third floor of the Cosmo. And then the last one is Hell's Kitchen, the Gordon Ramsay restaurant out in front of Caesar's Palace. And all of them have prefix menus that are under $100, and you get to just sample like cool wares that these chefs are known for. The Hell's Kitchen one is only 3 courses, but it's like you get you get to play all the hits. You get the seared scallops, you get the beef Wellington, you get the sticky toffee pudding. You don't need anything else from Gordon Ramsay. It's great, and it's affordable, at least at that price point.
Now, I was going to say maybe we should write this up so I could send it to Lauren, but no, I'm going to
make them listen. Yeah.
Listen.
I was going to add on to the prefix thing. So I haven't heard this restaurant talked about a lot. I know about it. I don't know anyone who's ever eaten at it, but it's at Fontainebleau. I believe it's called Ito. It's ITO. It's a sushi restaurant. They say it's like the tallest point in Nevada. It's basically where you could eat.
So I know about this from hearing it from Vinny Chen's on the 7 Out podcast. He talked about his experience there.
Oh, so he went there.
Yep. And I think you have to go through their kind of like exclusive members only lounge, the Poodle Room, to get there. So yeah, it absolutely is on the top floor there. When you see those floor to ceiling glass windows, when you're looking up at the building, that's where it is.
So if they want to be really bougie, it's $400 per person. It's 18 courses. Right. But you also get access to this private members only bar that's up there as well. Now, is all that worth it for any random person? No, I like sushi a lot. I would be open to doing this at some point. But again, I think, yeah. So Vinny's now finding out that I haven't listened to one of their latest podcasts, which is I'm being outed right now. But I think there's some of those out there that are just not talked about too much. Like, do your own scavenger hunt online before you go and see if you can find some of these things. So that's one that's been piquing my interest for a long time. But I was also going to say, like, okay, so we're not big into gambling. I would say gamble a little bit. I would say have a really small budget, even if it's like $100 or less, and just find a stupid machine that you can sit at for a little bit and just kind of get the casino experience. With the exception, we're going to lose $100. We're going to play the stupid looking slot machine.
Yeah.
Maybe you hit a bonus. And like, people who don't gamble, they have no idea what to even expect, right? Like, I'm not telling you, don't research anything. It's fun to just have no idea what the hell this slot machine is going to do and just sit down and enjoy yourself for a little bit and just kind of see what happens.
And make sure you're hitting the button all the way to the left, so that way it's like 80 cents and not like $100.
So know how it works. Yeah. Look at that.
I feel like I couldn't disagree more, just in the way that I enjoy gambling. What? Like I don't play slots kind of as a rule. I've played slots before, probably a single digit number of times, but I would want to know exactly how every pay works. And what happens on the screen kind of doesn't matter in slots because they can just kind of show you whatever result that they want to show you, right? Like each spin is independent, but each virtual reel they show you isn't independently spinning, right? So like as a result, I feel like I want to know exactly what I'm trying to hit, and but that's the way I am. So,
but you're a seasoned gambler. None of this matters to someone who's has no idea what they're doing. No offense, Lauren. And is it Dan?
I don't think I know.
No, Dan's a different guy.
Dan's a different guy.
Dan's hosted at Circa. He knows what he's doing.
That's right.
That's right. But honestly, like a TV show you like, whatever, just something goofy, or like something that when I was in town with a bunch of people who didn't gamble, we played slot golf, and I don't know if Jack and James, you know what slot golf is,
Yeah.
Oh
but
yeah.
pick, it works better if you're in a group, but it can work fine with two people. But what slot golf essentially is like everyone deposits a certain amount, maybe it's $50, $100, whatever it is, and you go from casino to casino, you casino hop, and you pick one slot machine and you spin the reels, and however long it takes you to win something, that's your score for that particular casino. So if it takes you 3 spins to win, and usually I do partial amounts too. Some people do it like you have to win your bet back, but I think that takes too long. So if you're
That's the
betting a
state of
dollar,
slot machines these days is it
right?
takes too long if you have to at least get your bet back to count it as a win.
We've all seen Huff and Puff. I've done 18 before, and it's an absolute slog. But even if you do like 5, and we're going to casino hop to 5 casinos, we're going to try 5 different slot machines, and the loser pays for drinks, and the winner gets whatever's left on the Tito when you're all done. Of course, have an agreement of like, hey, if we had a jackpot, we're splitting this, because you don't want that kind of awkward thing. But I do think like gamble a little bit, even if it's $25 into a slot machine, whatever. Video poker, if you know basic poker hands and you mess around on that. Like, I just want you to have that a little bit.
And what if this was a 4-hour podcast, that would lead us into this idea that I think people can go with $100, $150, let's say, and play the slots, play the machines, and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I could never say someone who like, don't go try blackjack on the because you're not going to find anything that you can actually enjoy for tables. But this is not a 4-hour podcast, so we'll save that for later. So I'll make sure I will text Lauren a photo of us talking right now and say, you got to listen. I'm not giving you any advice besides we have to listen to the pod.
And do go hiking, because Red Rock Canyon is fantastic.
All right, I've got one more thing I wanted to get to before we get out of here, and that is some feedback we got on Twitter from the aforementioned Vinny Chens of the 7 Out podcast.
Sorry, I didn't listen to your show, Vinny.
On the last episode, we asked, like, is gambling what makes Las Vegas special, or is it something else? And I kind of led, I think, with the unpopular opinion that I think it is the gambling. And Vinny pretty vehemently disagreed. And I kind of want to address the things he said on Twitter here, because he wrote up a really nice response to it. Mm-hmm. And I agree with most of the stuff he's saying. And so I kind of wanted to share what his take on it was, and then like kind of why I said what I said and why I still think I agree with him. And what he said was, outside of the World Series of Poker, I don't think gambling brings me to Vegas at all. The 2 people I enjoy Vegas with the most don't gamble at all. It's the town, the dining, the people watching, the excitement, the hotels, the dining, the shows, and the chance to escape everyday life. And he says the second thing he couldn't relate with is my premise on losing money on table games. He says, I look at table games as a change of pace and much more enjoyable as a social experience, as opposed to mashing buttons on slots and video poker. This is more of a me issue, I'm sure, but losing money on slots makes me feel dumb. Feeding more money into slots chasing bonuses makes me feel like a degenerate, but I keep doing it because I'm both dumb and a degenerate. Losing money at table games feels like an entertainment tax or a cost to hang out with friends. And so I'll kind of look at these 2 things kind of separately. The reason I tend to take some of these contrarian viewpoints is because I, and you, Vinny, host a podcast for people who enjoy gambling and enjoy Vegas, or both. And so as a result, of course, we know people that like to come out to Vegas despite the fact that they don't gamble, or like we find interest in the non-gambling things. We'd be perfectly happy gambling somewhere, but we go to Vegas because it has all the other stuff. I think in general, though, when the question is asked, like, would you tell your friends to go to Vegas for a vacation, or would you tell them to go somewhere else? Unless I know these friends really well and know that they like the specific milieu that Vegas has to offer, I'm going to send them somewhere else. I'm going to say, go to Europe, or go to New York, or go to Nashville, or go to Orlando. I mean, like, it almost doesn't matter. I think you could have a better vacation other places than Vegas. If you only get 1 vacation a year or 2 vacations a year, whatever it is, I think it could be a waste to use your vacations on Vegas if you're not already a big Vegas hack and you don't gamble. And so I was just kind of trying to make sure that I stay consistent with the outside perspective of someone who isn't already a big Vegas nerd like we all are.
Mm-hmm.
See, I don't know, man. Like, I think it depends. It's got to depend on what people like for a vacation.
I mean, I agree. I would
Even
go
if someone
you told me I can't gamble on this next trip, where are you going to go? I'd be like, well, I'll probably go to Vegas and just see if I can do it without gambling, right? Like, I mean, but I'm a sicko in that regard as well.
Yeah, I think I would still tell. Like, people have asked me, like, oh man, I'm not really into gambling. Like, should I just go to Vegas? It's like, yeah, like you should just go and experience it.
And so then just on that second point where he talks about like, how does it feel losing money on table games? I don't know why I feel the way I feel about it, right? Like, I know that table games generally are like lower house edges. They're slower paced. You're not actually losing all that much to play them compared to some of these machines, which the machines are actively built to encourage you to do coin in faster and quicker with the sounds and the lights and things like that. So no, I agree with you that losing money on slots in a grander sense feels worse. But like, if I interrupt a video poker session to have a table game session and that session is a loser, there is something unique to that for me that I can't really explain why I don't like it or why it hits hard, but it does. And I'm still trying to come to grips with that. But other than that, I agree with basically everything you said there.
No, I agree with him completely, especially on slots, because it's like, if I play slots, I'll do like bonus hopping, right? Where like, if I hit a bonus and I'm done with that machine and I'll go somewhere else, knowing full well that nothing actually changes, right? If I'm thinking of it in like a vacuum, right? But like, I feel I can't sit down and just grind a single slot machine in perpetuity. Like, there's something
I think very
in me.
few can, yeah.
But there are people that they can and will do that. I mean, slot influencers are so popular because there are so many people that absolutely will. And so I'm with him completely on that. Whereas I will do that with video poker. And there's really not much of a difference there. There's no difference at all, besides like pay tables and stuff and feeling more in control. But in terms of the actual action and what I'm doing, like, no, like I will grind out a video poker machine until I'm done. Then I lose all my money. But I won't, it'll still feel different than a slot, even though it really, really shouldn't.
Yeah. I'm glad Vinny responded. Like, that's
yeah, I wanted to include that, because I thought it was well written and well said, and I agree with it more than I disagree, but also because it's cool to get some kind of long form feedback like that, which is why you should email the podcast. We have an email address, handyatttheshandy@gmail.com. If you have any feedback for the show or just want to share your 2 cents on something we talked about, feel free to hit us up there. It was great to hear from Vinny, and I've been enjoying the 7-out pods, even as they come out slightly in arrears. But he does a great job over there, yeah.
That's What Are We Plugging Now?
Yeah, what are we plugging?
That.
All right, well, I guess I'll get us out of here. This is the end of episode 5 of Handy at the Shandy. I'm Boring Jack. I've been joined, as always, by Table James Games, Adam the Fraud, and that's it.
Then those are the three of us.
Those are the people.
Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for your feedback.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple weeks.